Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Pokhara, Nepal. Today I want to do a response video because someone sent me something on WhatsApp and I just feel I really need to respond to this.
I'm driving through the suburbs where I once lived 32 years ago. I witnessed the collapse and physical destruction of Hillbrow, Yeovil, Berea and Joburg Park, where anywhere you go and everywhere you see, you find multitudes of people roaming the streets, motorists violating road traffic acts, residents contravening bylaws. What was once an eclectic mix of exotic shops and buildings is all gone and replaced by gutted, dilapidated, filthy structures, smashed windows, broken doors, charred and burnt out walls, heaps of rotting dirt strewn across every sidewalk, and sewage spilling onto streets and gutters. Oh, I am shattered when I come across park mansions. I lived here. And so did the former president of this country, Mr. Thabo Mbeki. I would bump into Oskido, Boomshaka, Tebe, Bongo Muffin, Tim Modise, and even Bob Mabena. Yes, celebrities lived here. I ask myself, what manner of human beings these are who have failed to maintain the strong throne. What quality of human beings are living here? What is their state of mind? Do they have a hatred for beauty? For South Africa? Why do they care less of their surroundings? What is government doing to bring about restoration and restitution? Why are laws no longer enforced? I cry for you, South Africa. You have become so weak, slowly deteriorating. I watch you crumbling and succumbing into the hands of those who do not respect the rule of law. You are on board the Titanic and slowly sinking.
Okay, so these areas that she's talking about, I also lived in Hillbrow when I was young. The other areas, Yeovil, Berea, Joburg Park, those were my stomping ground areas, especially like Rocky Street. Now, I lived in Hillbrow, actually just on the border of Hillbrow and Parktown during the apartheid. So this was, and I lived until 1990, 91 in South Africa. So in that area. And this lady who made these videos, she lived there after me, which makes sense because I can hear she's a non-white, like me, I'm non-white as well. So before 1994, only coloreds were allowed to live in Hillbrow. It just became a new law, I think, in the late 80s, that it became a law where it was coloreds were allowed to live in Hillbrow, but also only certain flats, certain areas in Hillbrow itself. But of course, you had all the clubs and the pubs and the restaurants where it was open to anybody, because this is Johannesburg, and in Johannesburg, the only color that matters is the color of money. And a lot of these places had right of admission reserved. So as long as you fit the bill and had the money, you were allowed to visit these places. Now, also those areas, like she mentioned, it was an artsy and entertainment area. And especially during the time I lived there, which was still during the apartheid area, most of the movie stars, the singers, the producers, artists, sorry, I have a cat here, it keeps biting me, artists and all these kind of people lived in that area. That's why I lived there. And so it was a very vibrant, lively place to be in, and we all kind of knew each other because we all worked together. So most of the people I worked with were living in that area, or people in the industry were living in that area. And especially Rocky Street. Rocky Street was the place. It was the whole street had pubs and bars and dance clubs and all these kind of art galleries and art jewelry stores and all this kind of place. So it was a very, very vibrant and happening place. And it looked nothing like in this video. It was clean, very organized, very safe. There were always policemen patrolling. It was just beautiful. There was like flower pots on the sidewalk. It was just a beautiful area. And just even the whole of Hillbrow was just so beautiful. And I went back to South Africa in 2021, and I stayed near that area, and I was shocked because it looked exactly like she showed now, with people 24/7, people loitering around. We call it loafing in South Africa, loafing around, mainly men. And let me just put a little fact out there: foreigners, immigrants, most of them illegal immigrants. Because even when I walked there, I couldn't understand most of the languages they were speaking because they were not South African. I didn't find one South African person loafing. Every person I found that was loafing around there was a foreigner. That's just a fact. Okay, and most of the people who live in those areas are also not South Africans. They're people from other countries who ran away from their countries, other parts of Africa, and ran to South Africa. And there is, maybe because they are not South Africans, it's not their country, so they don't have pride in their homes, in their area. And I traveled through Africa. I traveled the whole West Africa, from Morocco right down to South Africa, and also the East Africa, from Sudan down to South Africa. And I'll have you know, the whole of Africa looks like that. The only parts of Africa that do not look like this is Rwanda, Namibia, Botswana. The rest of Africa, this is what you see. This is what Africa looks like. I think because this is the culture. People loaf, people don't care about, they don't have pride in their communities, they don't have pride in their properties, they don't have pride in what is theirs. Now, a lot of people are going to get upset because I'm saying this, but that's just what it is. A lot of people are also going to say, yep, I'm right. Because we know our government sucks. The South African government is useless. The ANC is useless. We know that. But why should that stop the individual from not playing their part? Also, why would it stop, like, let's say in that community, they are community leaders. What is stopping them from pulling people together there and getting the place sorted out? Why can they not do it? Why is everybody waiting for the government to do something? You live there. That's your community. If you're a community leader, you can get your members together and you can make some rules. Yes, the police are not doing their job, but as a community, you can sit on the backs of the police and get them to come and sort out the situation there. But it's because people these days, they just want to sit back and complain. Oh, the government doesn't do this, the government. Yeah, okay, the government for sure are not doing what they're supposed to do. But when it comes to your home, to your own community, there's only that much that a government can do. Most of it has to come from the people in the community themselves. Because every community has community leaders, you have members in the community, that are part of the committee. You have, and then you have the city mayor, like the mayor of Johannesburg is Kabelo Wakama, if I'm not mistaken. And where is he? Why is he not doing his part? Does he know this is going on? Is anybody letting him know that this is going on? The community leaders in those areas, Berea, Yeovil, Hillbrow, are you letting him know what's going on? Are you getting your people together and telling them to take pride in the community and to clean it up? The windows don't have to be broken. Whoever owns that property can fix the windows. People don't have to be loitering and loafing around in the street, because if you have police there or people who own those businesses can tell them to move. Things can be controlled. I've seen this happen in other countries. I am now in Nepal. Nepal is in better shape than South Africa is now. When I came to Nepal in 2014, this was also very backward. Now it seems to be more developed. I don't mean like in infrastructure, but in the way people behave, in the mentality of the people. They are way more evolved and they've progressed further than South Africans. So yeah, I know our leaders, we want to complain about the ANC, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. Yes, of course they're not doing that. But when it comes to your own home and your own community, you have control there. You are living there. You're a member of the community. Surely you can do something about it. Why must you rely on the ANC? We know they're useless. They are useless. I look at my old area where I used to live as a child, Rivoli. Rivoli is divided into 3 sections. Well, 4, because you have Rivoli Extension. Well, during my day, which is what we used to call Zombie Town, we have Zone 1, Zone 2, and then we have the area where I live, which is called the New Houses. If you look, even if you go to Rivoli, the New Houses housing area today, the area where I live, which is near the Catholic Church, you can see how orderly that area is, because to date, the people in that community, they care for that area. They care for the street, the behavior of people in that area, the crime rate. So if they can do it, why can't other communities do it? What's wrong with that? Or are the people in the Rivoli in that area just better people? I don't think so. I think all this pointing fingers at the government, yeah, 80% is pointed at them, but we also have to play our part. You live in that community, you live in that area, so do your part. That's how I would do. That's what I would do. I'm not just going to sit and complain or allow people to do that. If that's my shop, if people are loitering in front of my shop, I'll put a stop to it. I'll nag the police to do something about it. I'll be on that committee. I'll make myself the leader of that committee so that I can get changes implemented. So I think South Africans should also, there are certain things that you can control. Actually, there's a lot of things you can control. You're just not doing it because everybody wants things up soap, waiting for someone else to do it or waiting for the government to come and help you. No, you need to help yourself. We're not children, we need to grow up. Anyway, that's all I want to say about this video. So I feel sorry for you people living in that area. And I also don't feel sorry for you because I think it's just your fault. Cheers.